Hello and welcome to Dreams of Wings, and welcome here to gorgeous Hammerfest. Stunning scenery in northern Norway for what is very much a kind of an old school Dreams of Wings video. Warbirds, mountains, beautiful scenery, that's what it's all about. And this particular Hammerfest is freeware by Terry Pilot, and it's available on flightsim.to. And I will put a link to it down below. But we are taking the Hellcat for a spin. It's been a while since the Hellcat's featured on the channel. It's been a while since I've flown it, so I need to give myself a kick up the arse and actually do a familiarization flight. This is a beautiful repaint of Fleet Air Arm 800 Naval Air Squadron Gannet, as we Brits called it, by Garfield. I love this repaint. It's one of the ones I tend to use the most. So what we're going to do to blow off the cobwebs is we're going to take off from here at Hammerfest. We're going to go around some gorgeous scenery, up some fjords, have a look at some snowy peaks, and we're going to end up at Hasvik, where we're going to be attempting a landing. This is very much a case of me, warts and all, blowing the cobwebs off and flying the aeroplane for the first time in a while. But she really is stunning. Hellcat is such a purposeful aircraft and great fun to fly in the sim. One of the best warbirds for Flight Simulator 2020, I should say. Anyway, enough of my waffling. Let's get in the airplane. Let's get flying. Right, here we are in the lovely Hellcat cockpit. Very, very atmospheric. First of all, I should start off with a quick health warning. Now, this weekend actually had someone place a couple of comments on an old helicopter video that I did. I say old, it's not that old. And I made a couple of mistakes on it, and he was so irritated that he had to leave these comments. And one of them, I seem to remember, he said he was yelling at the screen. If you are of that kind of disposition, I strongly suggest you do not watch this video. Or any of my videos, to be quite honest with you. I've never set myself up to be an expert. I feel with every flight I'm learning, especially this kind of thing where I'm coming back to a warbird after a while away from it. This video isn't a tutorial. It's definitely not me showing off my expertise in it. You may well be an expert. You may well know everything there is to know about this aircraft and how to operate it. If you are that kind of person and you get irritated by mistakes, don't watch. For your own benefit, don't watch, because you'll just be moved to yell at the screen and things like that. But if you want to come along for a nice flight in some beautiful scenery in a wonderful aeroplane and watch a self-confessed amateur fly it, then let's go flying. Right, with that boring old thing out of the way, let's get things going. So, cowl flaps fully open. It's getting a bit dark down there in the shade. Mixture, throttle 1/5 open. Mixture lean. Must remember to come back to that. Supercharger neutral. The lever's automatic. Doesn't do anything in here, so we're just going to leave that as it is. The battery now can come on. There we go. And needles come alive, so that's all good. Fuel selector right main, that's down here. Let's give you a twiddle. It's a technical term if you've not heard that before. Right, fuel pump on. And over here we've got 8 psi, which is all good. Primer 3 to 5 seconds as it's cold. We're going to go 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ignition on to both. And then I've got my thumb on the mixture ready to put that onto auto rich once we fire up. So let's get going. Clear prop, by the way, if anyone's silly enough to run in front of this huge radial engine. Safety first. There we go. Auto rich. That's all good. Come back down. We want RPM. There we go, about 1,000. There we are. just while we are heating up. And how are we down here? Is everything looking healthy? Yeah, fuel pressure's good, oil pressure's good. That's absolutely fine. Try and remember where everything else is. That's all good. Okay, we're slowly warming up. So we need our cylinder head temperature needs to be really between 190 200 for normal operations, and our oil needs to be a minimum of 40. So I think we're doing alright on that score as well. It's warmed up rather quickly. Right, let's close that. Let's have the radio on, not that we're going to be using it. Everything else is fine there. Happy with that, happy with that. We've got the cowl flaps fully open, excellent. Tail wheel is unlocked because we need to steer. Lights, we have done that. Well, we're going to do that what we want. Or as far as we want to, rather. Okay, let's just check that. We look at the temperatures again, that's all good. Right, let's taxi out. So, there we go, feet on the brakes, but release the parking brake, stick back, steady on girl. Ooh, quick check. Wind hasn't changed, that's good. I think we have got, let's have a look. Yeah, we've got a 40 knot crosswind. Just to spice things up a bit. Okay, let's move. Got car string tail wheel here, so we need to remember that we have to use differential braking, just airflow over the rudder. This was, I remember when this first came out, the ground handling was absolutely superb, and it still is, after flying some other aircraft. Right, nothing around, let's take the runway. I've got multiplayer and everything off, so I'm not expecting to see anything. There we go. Okay. And, oh, that's interesting. We were doing a little spin to the left there for some reason. Let's just, there we go. That's better. Right, let's have a quick look down. We haven't done a run-up check, naughty boy. Fuel selector, right main, carburetor, protected air full in, that's all good. Fuel pressure 16 to 18.5, which it is, so that's all good. Rudder tab, 2 marks right. There we go. I'm trying to remember where that is. Where the hell did we go? Right, everything else is neutral, that's all good. That's fine. Everything's okay over here. Wings are locked. Sorry, I'm talking to myself here. Right, let's go. Stop waffling. I'll try and concentrate now. Bit of power. Oh, hold on a minute. Now that's interesting. How did I miss that? I just noticed I hadn't engine start. Doopy doopy doo, blah de blah de blah, doopy doopy doo, doopy doopy doo. But it's in run-up checks. Yes, it's in run-up checks. Propeller full increase. Just realised I didn't have it. Had I done a run-up, then I would have picked that up. What an idiot. Let's just get the head tracking correct. Okay. Watching for that. Ooh, there it goes. Crosswind kicking in a little bit there. Let's keep the climb up, come back on the RPM. close the canopy. Getting blown around a little bit. Came back a little bit too much on the power there. Let's close the cowl flaps a little bit. In fact, we can close the cowl flaps all the way. There we go. See how quickly we gain height there. Okay, just going to neutralise the rudder trim. Just checking that everything feels okay. What do we want for RPM? We'll go 2,200. There we go. Right, let's get on course. Would be rather handy, wouldn't it? There's Hammerfest. I just think Hammerfest sounds like an 80s kind of death metal group. Let's get down, because after all we are here to look at some beautiful scenery, not go into the stratosphere. Just get everything set up over here, get my map in the right place. There we are. I do love flying around Norway. I've done a couple of videos here now, a few over the years. It was a helicopter one, was the last one here. But the scenery is just rather lovely. Getting a lot of, as you can see, a lot of turbulence down here. Bounced around quite a bit. See by the way the aircraft is wiggling around there just how much the turbulence is affecting it. I sometimes wonder if that is actually quite realistic. That kind of getting wiggled around and bumped around so much. It's something I noticed in the FlyingIron Spit as well. I've never flown a Hellcat, so I've no idea, but I have briefly flown a Spitfire. And maybe it was just the conditions on the day, but it wasn't bouncing around that much. Hello, 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 look at that, power lines. It would have been embarrassing if we'd gone into that, wouldn't it? Must remember as we're running around the fjords here, no jokes about Norwegian blues. And secondly, watch out for power lines. Beautiful scenery. This is live weather, by the way, I should say. What have we got now? We've got a 19 knots. Oh no, it's gone down to 11, so it's quite gusty. We did have a 19 knot crosswind. Let's give a bit of beans to get over here. Getting jostled around rather a lot. Nice chilly day, bit of mesh popping there, doing some weird things. And then we'll just crest over the top of this ridge here. And this is the Sealand National Park by the looks of it. I should have said at the start, anyone who is from Norway, apologies in advance for any mispronunciations of your beautiful language. Here we go. This is what we wanted, and pop over the top. Beautiful. Warbirds and mountains. Doesn't get much better than this. Let's come back on there a little bit. Let's have a look down here. Try and fly the plane at the same time. Yeah, that looks okay. Oil temperature, well, both actually possibly getting a little bit too high, so let's just come down here, open that a little bit, and let's open that a little bit. Probably as I'm blatting around, the temperatures are rising a bit, but we just need to keep an eye on that. You do need to watch the temperatures in the Hellcat, because it can bite you on the arse if you're not careful. Get down. Let's also be careful with this frozen sea. Our ability to judge height is going to be a little bit tricky. So just looking ahead. It's a lovely aeroplane. Just back to cruise power settings. Here are our temperatures, yeah, that's okay, that's good. Coming down nicely, we can actually close the cowl flaps now. Watch what you're doing, sunshine. Do have to watch the temperatures in this. Gorgeous. So lucky with the weather today. It's a little bit windy and a little bit windy, that's all it is, but the visibility and everything is just gorgeous. So where are we heading to now? We are heading to I guess, okay, so it's looking on the map, it's Sandnes. That's on the opposite shore there, almost pointing the nose at it, almost, but we're going to fly up this fjord here. It's actually quite a nice flight to get to know the Hellcat again, really, because there's a fair bit of handling involved in it. I'm just doing a bit of trimming at the moment, but it's a lovely aeroplane. Still getting biffed around a bit by the low altitude turbulence there. They're lovely. Keep an eye on what you're doing. So we're going to continue flying down this fjord here. It's nice to be back doing this kind of flying, actually. It's the kind of flying I love doing. Some nice scenery, a warbird. And these FlyingIron warbirds certainly are some of the best in Microsoft Flight Simulator at the moment. Tend to fly the Spit more than the Hellcat, but whenever I get in the Hellcat, I'm always reminded I should fly it more often. And it's got that cool little carrier landing and takeoff feature as well, if you want to try and simulate that. It's a prime example of a glacial valley there. U-shaped valley formed by a glacier. There you go, you get education and everything on this channel. Don't need to get wound up by things. Oh dear. You can really see that wiggling, can't you? Very noticeable. Right, let's we need to head up that way. Or is it that way? No, it's that way. Professional navigation there. Using the... oh, it's that way. Actually, it was that way. Dear me, come on. Thank God we're in a warbird and we can pull and manoeuvre like this. We were meant to go this way. Not that way. This way. Nice little town there. Right, let's yank it round. Another technical term there for you, for all the experts. I watched your video and I can't believe you used the term yank it round. And hopefully, if everything goes to plan, when we pop over here, we should have a rather nice view. But we'll see. You never quite know. Well, it's frozen over, which is a little bit disappointing, but that's my fault. We are rather far north, and Microsoft Flight Simulator thinks with the live weather that it would be frozen over up here. Maybe it would be. What the hell do I know? Let's just check the head tracking. There we go. It is beautiful though, isn't it? Very white, but very scenic. Almost Christmassy. Very nice. So we need to head up this valley now. Just thread it through. Nice bit of low flying. A big lumpy bit at the end of it, which we don't want to get slotted into. But before we meet the lumpy bit, we'll be doing a left turn. So let's just keep an eye on that. How's the temperatures? Yep, they're good. And then we come down here. Follow this round. Then we're going to do a sharp right. And fly up this valley. It's definitely very white, isn't it? Must do this again with without live weather on and see what it looks like when it's green. But it's quite beautiful. But this is the kind of flight you want to do on a hot day, you know, when it's really hot wherever you live. You're absolutely sweltering, you haven't got air conditioning, you can't get cool, so you come and do a flight somewhere like this and see if psychosomatically, is that right? See if it cools you down. So, what are you flying at the moment? What's your favourite warbird? Be interested to know. There's been quite a few new releases recently, which, being a grumpy old git, I've not partaken in. But I'd definitely be interested to know what you're into at the moment. I see the tornado has now been released. One of the tornadoes. Must admit, I've not really been following those. Tornado isn't necessarily my kind of aeroplane. I had intended to get one, and I probably still will at some point. I just need to. It's the study time, and at the moment, trying to find time to do anything is pretty much impossible. A lot of things going on that make it difficult to make videos, let alone spend the time actually learning what I need to learn to make a video. There's people now saying, whoa, hang on a minute, you're actually saying you actually bother to learn and read manuals and things like that. We'd never got the impression from your videos that you did that. Well, believe it or not, sometimes I do. I do have this awful habit of, when I buy new aircraft, let's just watch the height because we can't really see much. When I buy new aircraft, I tend to jump in and just start flicking switches and all that kind of thing, and just getting a feel for it. And I do that first, and somehow that way that shows me where my weaknesses are, and maybe where things are a little bit less obvious, and then I hit the manual and I do it that way. That of course is the complete opposite to what you would do in the real thing. There is no way you would jump in a real aircraft and just say, oh, what does this do? And then fire it up and then start flying off. You'd be an idiot. But in the sim we have the luxury of being able to do that sort of thing. It is a simulator, it is not the real thing. That's why idiots like me can jump in an aeroplane, not do a run-up, and therefore miss the fact that the prop needed to be fully forward. But at least I realised when I was on the end of the runway, hey, yes, all the pedantic know-it-alls out there, at least I noticed then. At least I didn't try and take off with it, eh? Isn't that beautiful? Just stunning. Norway is a beautiful country. There is no doubt about it. I had great fun flying around here for my virtual airline. I was flying the King Air. That was good fun. And I keep meaning to come back, maybe in the A2A Comanche. That would be good fun. And turbulence is still bashing us around a little bit. It does sometimes feel very exaggerated. Interested to see in 2024, or Microsoft flights in 2024, if that's the same for certain aircraft. But we're definitely getting bumped around. What's the weather at the moment, or rather what's the wind at the moment? We've got 14 knots, 40 knot crosswind coming from the right, and we are coming up on Hasvik now, so we're going to be wanting to take, concentrate on what you're doing, we're going to be wanting to take runway 11, so we're going to come round this away. I can tell you now this landing is going to be eventful. Let's have a quick look at the temperatures. Yeah, they're okay. Happy with that. Let's have a look at this beautiful, beautiful little town. I just realised we've got green. There's our airfield, or airport. There we got a nice little church. quite a short runway, so we don't want any floaty going on. There's the church. Okay, let's come back round and let's have a quick look at the checklist, because this is rather important. Right, so best tank we've been using. There we go. Get the click spot right, you idiot. We'll put it onto the left tank just to balance us out a little bit, because we've been burning from the right. Should have been maybe swapping those a bit more, but we've not been flying too far. Let's have cowl flap half open. There we go. Cutter close. Or cutter or shutter. That's all good. Bum 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 bum. Everything's looking great. That's all good. And let's now open that in case we need to jump out. Not that we're being too negative about our prospects here. Just noticed I should have had the fuel pump off once we're at a safe altitude, and interestingly it doesn't say anything about fuel pump on for landing that I can see, so I'm going to switch that off. We've completely messed up our lovely curved approach because I was faffing around so much. This is why it's really good when you if you get into a flow with your checklists. Makes life so much easier rather than faffing about. So what I'm going to do is just extend over here, and then we can come round. A little fast as well, so we'll come back on the power. Going to put there we go, prop fully forward. Let's do a turn here, let's have a look at our speed. That's not too bad, looking for about 150 knots. Just dangle the Dunlops. And we have got wheels down indicating, and let's do the flaps. Flaps on this are really cool, you just whack them down and the speed of the aircraft, if it's too fast, will blow them back a little bit. It's a really clever system. Means that if you're doing a carrier landing, you can just, you know, set it and forget it. Right, tail wheel, I'm going to lock it. If we were landing on a carrier, that would be unlocked. Forgot to lock that for the takeoff, but maybe that's why the takeoff was a little bit wobbly. Let's watch the speed. Feels a little bit high, but possibly not. Drifted over to the right a little bit. Oh. Okay, we're going to do a go around. You probably won't have seen that. You probably just noticed a glitch, but quite literally, as we were on approach there, the sim decided to do a freeze, which is not ideal. And came back to life in a precarious situation, so let's we're going to do that again. Okay, so how are we doing? Let's come back on the throttle. Gear down. Let's get the flap down. Let's try that again, and hopefully it won't freeze. I have noticed that since World Update 16, is it World Update 16, the most recent one with all the German cities, I'm getting these long pauses and I don't know why. They'll just come in randomly. It's not something I've seen in the sim for a while. That's that. Floating like an idiot, like I said I shouldn't do. Then we're down, stick back. Dancing on the rudders a little bit. The weirdest airport building there. Very thin, but somehow almost like a sculpture. It's like a Nordic airport sculptural building. It's kind of cool. Right, well there you go, we made it in one piece, even though we had to, thanks to the sim, have another go at that approach. And we finally get to see some green. How wonderful is that? I hope you've enjoyed the flight. It's been good having you along. It's nice to be back in a warbird again. And in some beautiful scenery as well. Anyway, take care now, and I look forward to seeing you on the channel again soon. Bye now.